Yo, yo, yo. What up, great people?
Hey, hey,
Once again, it is I, your boy AD.
your girl D, gang.
All right, and it's Tuesday.
He's
Twice
not.
the advice, so we in the house. We're gonna do what we do best, and we thank you guys for joining us once again. So, baby,
Yeah.
we got a really good topic tonight,
Uh
huh?
huh. Uh-huh.
Okay. You mind telling the people what this discussion is gonna be about?
Okay. Topic. I made a little bit of changes from what sparked tonight's topic. Not sure if you guys keep but there's a couple name that go by the name of Deval and Kadeen. And they do a lot of relationship stuff as well. There was a video that I shared on both on our Instagram and Facebook pages that talked about monogamy and marriage. Of course, it is quite an extensive clip. However, it's narrowed down to maybe about 6 to 8 minutes. If you see it, catch it on IG, catch it on Facebook. But DeVal was talking to his wife
Mhm.
about how a lot of men are forced, so to speak, into exclusivity, aka relationships or marriage. Then, hey, cuz, how you doing? After being forced into exclusivity, they then feel as though their partner pulls back from them sexually, which causes issues with monogamy.
Okay. Well, she shared it with me, and I watched the video, and I said to myself, I'm like, wow. Um, yeah, been there. Been right there, exactly right there. Uh,
Hey, Shantae, it's so nice of you to join
exactly
us.
where he is, exactly what he's talking about, all that old good stuff. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. True that.
That part.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be interesting to discuss this tonight because we've been right there in that place. What are you talking about? All of that and some more. And so I agree with Kadeen's response in part where she talks about how, the 26-year-old her had no idea what the expectation really was for a marriage, not realizing what that demand could be. To a certain degree, I agree with her, not realizing, but it's not and let me just put it right on out there, it's not the sexual demand that you don't recognize is there. It's everything else that comes along with being a wife in a relationship that you don't recognize will take a toll on your sex drive.
Please explain. Please elaborate a little bit more.
All right, cool. So, have you ever seen the meme on Facebook where it's like like they're saying, the kid to mom, like, mom, can I have, mom, can I do, mom, can I go? And then it's like, dad, the kid says, dad, where's mom?
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just like a tidbit of how that kind of works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's a lot of things that mom is responsible for that isn't really noticed unless it's not done.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
So, yes, you don't necessarily take into account what the sexual demand is, and maybe initially you are all for the sexual demand. I know I was, just being honest. But when the oh my gosh, when it all came together, and it was rent, car note, car insurance, light bill, water bill, family vacation, homework, conferences, doctor's appointments, and all of these things I'm intended to keep, hey, Rita, keep in my mind and keep everyone up to date on. You don't recognize how these things kind of start to take a toll on you mentally, which then has a direct effect on you physically.
Okay, definitely. So, I know where we were, and there was a disconnect between us, socially, and it became such a headache and completely just like tore our sex life apart.
Ripped it apart.
And when I look at the amount of things that you're responsible for, um, I get it. I do get it. But one in the same, I'm like, damn, that you still got that demand. That demand is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want the ladies to be pissed off with me, but if you're not the wife
Mm-hmm.
and you are the woman of the house,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the kids,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the job,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the laundry,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the cooking,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna have the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and then you still gonna want to have sex
Mm-hmm.
somewhere within there.
Mm-hmm. But
So
sex on, this is the difference though. The sex on occasion is not sex 2-3 times every day.
right, and I will and I will agree with that.
Sometimes is that not the demand?
Yeah, sometimes it's more.
Okay. And so these are the things that no one forewarned me about as far as being in an exclusive, completely monogamous relationship and
But
marriage.
when you don't do these things,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm pretty sure that you can give an account for with dealing with previous relationships and other individuals, when you don't give an account for the availability for sexual satisfaction, or laundry, or feeding um, the entire household, excuse me, then that's when it opens doors for other opportunities and other situations to come about, and you're just kind of fishing. You know what I'm saying? You're putting your bait out there, and you're looking for something to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Monogamy to me has been something that was almost like surreal,
Mm-hmm.
because I was so accustomed to doing what I wanted to do, not necessarily with being with more than one person,
Mm-hmm.
because the overlapping thing just kind of, eh, I'm scary. I I'm not. I'm particular about my pecker. I'm not. I recently had a conversation with one of my close family members, and she was telling me about something that she's been dealing with in her marriage, and her husband is just going around screwing everybody, and one girl, a few girls have all come up pregnant, and I'm just like, ew, like, hell no.
Uh-huh. Ooh,
Like
that felt pretty good, babe.
buddy, man, let me tell you something. Um, just if we were all as cautious as we have been about COVID, with covering up our faces, um, putting on gloves at the time that we did, and making sure that we sanitize our hands and wash our hands and do, if we were just that tedious about our sexual interaction and exploration with multiple partners, or even just the one individual partner, there would be a lot less people that would not have HIV, AIDS, herpes,
Hey,
chlamydia,
auntie.
syphilis, gonorrhea,
Auntie in the building.
all these different things. Shout out to my aunt Nicole, no doubt, no doubt. And it's just like people act like AIDS done died. Like people act like ain't no more AIDS, ain't no more HIV, ain't no more, all of these different things that you can contract from being with the person and giving yourself to these people. I am so funny style about who I open myself up to, how I open myself up to them. And that's why monogamy to me was like, okay, cool, because I got in-house. Like I got somebody that's going to shake a tail feather. We can just kind of like do this. I can focus on doing this right
Holly.
here and leave all that other crap alone, because talking to 2, 3, 4 different females, entertaining 3 or 4 females, being physical with one,
What's up,
or
LaShawn?
curious about, being physical with another one, that just brings about too much. That's if you think about everybody that they might have slept with, or everybody that they had slept with, and putting out, that's just like
it's a bit much.
It's a ookie gumbo.
Yet and still, with all of that, the idea of monogamy was and has been a difficult concept for you to grasp over the years. Not necessarily now.
Over the years, it was because I was so accustomed to just kind of like, I was like, oh well, I'm just doing a little flirting. I mean, that's not really, oh well, I mean, I like some pictures. Oh, I DM'd her, and it wasn't acceptable, because the fact of the matter is, you give what you want back. You know what I mean? And when I was kind of able to grow up and get beyond my own agenda, I was able to say, yeah, you're right. I see why you said that, because I would flip out. I would nut up, cut up, be ready to cut a rug when it came down to, oh, so you talking to such and such. But it was also because of a lack of honesty.
Okay.
When it came down to a lot of different circumstances that you had yourself involved in, and people that you were involved with, you guys had been involved in one way or another that was not disclosed to me from the initial, and even when it was like, hey, well, this is this person, and so on and so forth, and this is what this consists of. So monogamy became an issue, because I didn't feel like it was any truth to it. Okay. I didn't feel like it was any. It was like, okay, you want to be with me, but yeah, the Facebook meme. Oh well, you want to fuck all these other niggas, but want to be faithful to me. No, bitch, be a hold of me too. That's what the Facebook meme says. That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly the attitude that I carried for a significant amount of time, because it was like,
I feel like, to that same degree, if I could be, so to speak, a hoe for someone else, then I can be a hoe for you. But there is a lot of different variables that go into monogamy and relationships, because there's a lot that it takes to give all of you to another person.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot that it takes to give all of you to another person. You have to really open your mind up to ideas and concepts, and and true circumstances, to things that you may not have ever seen before.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I can definitely agree.
So there was a time, and I'll give you guys a window into our relationship. There was a time where we were not having sex at all.
Period, Pooh.
We were not having sex at all. And it was not, I didn't even realize, it was kind of like being in a sunken place. I didn't even realize that I was not myself. But I didn't realize how that made my husband feel like I was with someone else sexually, because I was not with him sexually. I had really just kind of went in a cocoon, even in my own mind, and I was not putting myself out. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about sex for a while, because there were so many other things that were going on that I was not happy with.
Unbeknownst to me, we were 2 years into our marriage, and we hadn't slept together in a year. And then we were coming up to our 3rd year anniversary, and she decided she wanted to put out. And I said to her, I was like, oh, so that's what that's like, because I have no idea what the hell it is. I have no idea. Pamela and Hannette had become my gruesome twosome, and we were hanging out quite regularly, because my wife had completely shut down.
Yeah.
And
doesn't make it okay.
I couldn't figure it out. It didn't make any sense. A lot of her conversation had changed. who she was having conversation with, what they were talking about. Um, damn near got somebody hurt. Got her hurt. Had several people on the verge of being attacked because homie don't play that. I'm, I was not having it, and because she was so willingly uh open in conversation with someone else and not willing to share these things with me, even the things that were I was the cause of. She just had me in a very, very horrible place, emotionally and mentally. So I began to question myself, in every way, and I didn't want to be married anymore. I didn't want to be married. I didn't want to be with her. I didn't want to be around her. I didn't want to deal with uh, even what it was that I was at fault for. Because when it started to come to me and it was being expressed, it was it wasn't realistic. It was just like, nah, that ain't why. Nah, you just saying that because you want to justify your actions.
And that was also a big welcome back, sis. That was also a very big milestone for me,
Hey, LaShawn.
because he would ask me to express to him what was bothering me, what it was that I was feeling, or what it was that I needed to express to him. And I would come to him the same way that I'm talking to you guys right now, very calm and very monotone, and be like, it's because I'm not really feeling, just like that. And he would be like, no.
When you decided to talk?
Yeah, and it took me a while. That was
2 years.
That was no. I mean, like, in life, it took me a very long time to be expressive. So
y'all have no idea what I dealt with. This is just a small look into how things have truly affected us. And because we have cared so much for one another, I think that that is the reason that we've been able to say, okay, we're going to drop the P in pride, let it ride, and just kind of like try this one more time. Like just last year, we were ready to, we were at odds. We weren't in the same household. We weren't uh, sleeping with each other. We weren't doing anything. We were barely even communicating. When we were communicating, it was just two phone lines attached. It wasn't even really.
We were doing a lot of yelling, actually, at this time last year.
You were doing a lot of yelling. I wasn't even caring. I just was like, it is what it is. You the reason for it. You brought this about. Hey, you got what you wanted. Take that.
Yeah.
And
I did a lot of yelling.
And I didn't care. I did a lot of not caring.
Mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't leave each other alone, child, and ended up back in the same situation as far as our marriage is concerned. So we decided to reevaluate things, and here we are, counseling each other, taking every opportunity that we can to break down every barrier, every wall, and communicate. And monogamy has been something that has been beautiful since we've been able to kind of like cut our shit.
Yeah, put our differences aside. Where we were, due to so many different feelings. I read someone's response. I believe it was Sherry Shepherd posted it and made a response on Instagram and said that
I am too, Russ.
That she was that monogamy and marriage played a big part in her first marriage not working out the way that she thought that it would. And I thought that was really awesome and very open for her to express, because no one had the conversation with her to let her know what that expectation was, what that really meant. You have these ideas and concepts of what you think a relationship should be, but you have no idea what the actual legwork takes to get to that place.
Okay. You have to say within yourself
Thank you so much, Holly.
that there are pros and cons to every situation, particularly in relationships. And the good outweighed the bad still for me. I had somebody to tell me, shout out to my it's like my sister, but we actually cousins. My cousin Peacha. We were on the phone earlier, and I talked to Peacha, and I was talking about Nino, free Nino, the movement,
Free Nino,
free my boy Nino, free my boy BG.
Free Nino.
Love you guys, man. And I was having that conversation with her, and she said to me, she said she didn't realize until she was much older, and an older woman said to her that when you look at a person and you say ill, that there's no love there. When you look at a person and it doesn't make you feel that same fire or, comfort that you once had with being with that person, being able to be open with that person, that there's no more love there. Get out. Leave it alone. And I said to her, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that because I have looked at my wife and in some of the things that we've gone through, some of the things that I've taken her through to turn around and get a result, and some of the things that she was accustomed to doing because of what someone else has done.
Oh wow.
I turned around and I looked at the situation and said, ill. Yeah, I don't think I like you too much. Mm-hmm. I don't think I want to be here. I don't think I want to do this. I don't think that this is any good for me. Mm-hmm. You'll fuck around and get fucked around. Excuse my language.
This is what he would say to me very often. And I have said this several times before, and I will continue to say this. I say this to my husband all the time. This is not my first marriage. This is my second, but it is definitely my last. This is it. And I am putting everything that I have, including things that I have not even acquired yet, on the line for this relationship to make this marriage work. So I'm pulling for me places that I didn't even know existed to make sure that we can take it to the next level and take it to the next place. But there were times throughout the course of this relationship where he felt like everything was great, and I was completely disgusted by where we were in as far as the situation. But I've never actually looked at my husband and said, ew, oh my God, why is he even here? Oh God.
We kind of went through that. That was something that we dealt with for a short time last year, and it was just like I'm thinking everything was I'm like, it's finally making sense. All right, we're able to talk. We've got somebody that we can talk to, that we can trust and confide in, and communication seems to be getting better, this and that. And she's like, no, wrong.
You're wrong.
And I'm like, there's no pleasing you. I'm done trying. I don't care. It doesn't matter if this is how it's gonna be.
I'm so glad I can laugh.
I'm cool with that. This is how it will be. You know what? Do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. Mm-hmm. Go back and live with your mom. Mm-hmm. Stay here. Go be with whoever you want to be with. Go live however you want to. Be young, wild, and free. I don't care. Just don't call me. Let me live my life. Don't complicate things by like, bruh, if I miss you, I text you.
Mm-hmm. And he said, don't call me. And then he hung up the phone. And I called him right
back. And I'm like, bro, this is so difficult because even though I'm a firm believer that you have to love someone enough to be willing to let them go.
If necessary, correct.
You have to love someone enough to be willing to accept their faults, to accept their brokenness, and to try to fix you while you allow them to fix them. And it just was not making sense to me. It still oftentimes don't make sense to me because She can be so difficult. And I'm just like, okay, but I'd rather be right here and deal with what it is that I've already been building than to try to tear it all down and meet someone and learn their ways and learn their character, or learn their mama and learn her shortcomings and they generational curses and all of that other stuff. And she got 5 grandmamas who done buried all her husbands. Ain't no way in the I'm dating you. It's you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So the sticking with it part was kind of a easy decision, because I also was able to weigh the pros and cons and say, well, in all the good, there's still good. And even though with this bad, it doesn't outweigh the good. So, you know, I'd rather be with her than watch her be good with somebody else, or watch her be happy with somebody else, because I know how good she's been to me. And
to the same degree, my response to that was,
that took a lot of maturity, though.
I was not about to allow me to stand in the way of the man that he became with me to be that man to another woman. There was no way. Yeah. The man that he was, or the man that he became while we were together, is not the man that I met. And that is because of the time and the investing and the forgiving and the praying and the pressing and all of these things went into him now being who he is in a relationship with me. There was no way that I would allow him to then turn around and take all of that greatness and goodness, the foundation, the first level and the second level that we put into our relationship, and ready made right into somebody else's situation and take off. Oh. Not happening.
I've seen so many people. I was just talking about it, some folks from my old church, and it was just like, I saw certain things and I spoke on them, and then it was like, somebody need to shut him up. And then it's like we were gone, and by the time I got ready, because I went and visited, by the time I got ready to go back and visit, which was maybe about a year and a half later, I'm looking and it's like, oh, that's not your wife. oh, whose baby? Oh, you've got a baby. Oh, wait, that's your second one. Oh, okay, cool. We've only been gone maybe 2 years. And that for me was like, so many people play the role. I never wanted to be caught up in the person that was wearing a mask. When I went to church and I was in church, I was committed to what it was that I was there for. When I got into this relationship, very early on, and it wasn't from jail, I had a conversation with my wife and I told her, I'm going to try harder. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to be better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to give what I've never given to this relationship, because I know how much I had given to previous relationships
for nothing in return.
And I got zero.
Nothing in return.
Like zero in return.
Same here.
All only including sex. And it was like, now I'm at the point where I will sit at home. I will enjoy the pleasures of myself before I go out and open the doors of foolishness and, all of this other negative stuff, especially the energy.
You heard me, Marie. You understand what I'm saying. She said Beyonce's Ring the Alarm. I'll be damned if I see another chick on your wall. Okay. I'm just saying. That's what Beyonce said. The lyrics right there.
The idea of me doing some crazy crap, right? As the head, right? The idea of me doing the crazy shit that I used to do in other relationships, to turn around and have that spill over into my marriage. I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. I know how that can affect me. I know how when I wasn't right in my position as a man, how our finances struggled. I know how me not taking the lead on certain things and taking charge, or being able to uh, speak on behalf of certain situations and keep us from doing certain things, has affected us, as well as me not being involved and me being reserved or being nonchalant about it has affected us to a whole nother degree on the other side of the spectrum. So I look at it like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. She trying to spend 100 grand. Hey, babe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I keep it real with you, but I don't even feel like the money is worth my soul, because I understand just how much more in depth it really is. I look at situations and I look at people, and it's like, I have a friend and she's going crazy, and I'm like, you're going crazy to be somebody. You want to be somebody so bad anybody will do. And she always end up messing with somebody that's messing with somebody else that's messing with some. And that's why you're going crazy, because you got all these spirits that you can't even identify with, that's driving you completely up the wall. You messing with him, he messing with him, and her and her and her and all this other junk.
And him.
Did you not? Him and her and her and her and all this other junk, and bringing that crap back to you, and then you're
carrying all of that.
They call it legions.
Yeah,
you're many.
You're carrying all of that. And so these are things that you don't necessarily take into consideration. And so many people, when we started our marriage counseling years and years, our premarital counseling, the elder at the time was saying to us, how you have to be really mindful of situations that you put yourself in your marriage, because you open the door to allow things in that you're working really hard to put out. And we heard that, but my oh my, did we miss that lesson for a while, and we opened the door. I mean, door after door after door after door after door to certain things. And it wasn't necessarily people in every circumstance, but we allowed so many different things to come in the middle of what we were doing, instead of shutting every door and standing in the hallway holding hands and, just digging deep in prayer, which would have helped us to kind of overcome a lot of those things, to face a lot of our fears, to spit it out, so to speak. We really put ourselves in quite the pickle. So I just want to say that although it is looked at as if you're doing something wrong, I guess, by being in a monogamous relationship, it is super duper fulfilling.
I think a lot of people feel that monogamy is overrated because people are so easily persuaded to cheat. People,
have you seen anything on TV?
I mean, yeah, but you gotta be mindful, you know what I'm saying, of what you let stay in your brain. And definitely you have to be accountable for what it is that you partake in. So that's the problem, where people aren't being held accountable. And then a lot of folks don't have standards. They have relationships. They have situationships. They have whatever it is that they can get themselves entangled.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about that.
so that they can feel better about not being by themselves.
Yeah.
And the importance of even being by yourself, to love on you and to be able to identify who you are and what you desire is so important. Sometimes you got to take a step back and push away from the table and say, hey, listen, I need to check myself before I wreck myself. I need to reevaluate my whole situation. I need to revamp this. You know what? I'm going to throw all of this away and come up with another blueprint. And I'll work from there, start from scratch. But a lot of people don't want to be alone. A lot of people don't take the time that's necessary to spend by themselves, to identify their flaws and shortcomings and their strengths as well. So you got a whole world of people and a generation of thoughts and jocks, I guess.
All right,
And
so I as you were saying that, right? Remember when we were younger and we would talk about how families always swept things under the rug, right?
Mhm.
And after you sweep enough things under the rug, eventually the rug won't be so smooth anymore.
Oh no.
You know, you'll trip and fall, right? And so we talked about that as we were coming up because, you know, for those generations before us, they didn't even really talk about how any of that worked. But we're still finding ways to deal with ourselves
Yeah.
as a universe. We are all finding ways, still learning ways to deal with ourselves, to deal with our own demons, to deal with our own flaws, to deal with our own shortcomings, to deal with our own trauma. We're all learning how to deal with these things. And you may not even know. I was watching last week's episode and we just kind of talked about how sometimes you can trigger a person and not even realize it.
Mhm.
These things can have an effect on them mentally that causes them to disconnect sexually.
Okay. That's very true.
Correct. And the best way to kind of go about that is knowing yourself, knowing what those triggers are, so you can advise the person that you want to be with, stay away from this. This doesn't work for me. Don't do this. This is a red flag for me. This could cause us to go all the way down the drain, all the way down the toilet. Let's not go to that place. So these are things that you have to learn about yourself, be accountable within yourself. It doesn't require anyone else, and then be able to give that to someone else. A lot of the issues that I went through while shutting down sexually was an adverse effect to my addiction that I suffered from 3-4 years prior. So as opposed to being super overly sexual, it was a complete shutdown of the opposite. And instead of having such a heightened desire, I had no desire at all. And I felt like that was the only way for me to not allow myself to succumb to what it was that we were going through in our marriage, and then take that and use that as an excuse to then step out.
Mhm. Well, it definitely takes some maturity in order to make sure that you are accountable.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta know thyself.
Absolutely.
And like we dealt with all of the different things that we were dealing with coming into the marriage
Mhm.
to get married.
Mhm.
And then the sex changed, the
Mhm.
communication changed,
Mhm.
the finances changed,
Mhm.
the children changed,
Mhm.
the living circumstances changed.
Mhm.
And I'm just sitting there looking like, bro, I don't know if I did the right thing.
Mhm.
And they say some people are built for this. So I started communicating with you and asking you questions, like, hey, listen, is there anything that you feel like we need to discuss?
Mhm.
Is there anything that you feel like I haven't openly expressed to you?
Mhm.
Because I was trying to peel back the layers to get an understanding of the actions that I was getting. For every action there's a reaction.
Yep.
So
For every cause, there's an effect.
right, so I'm saying, here we are.
Mhm.
I think I got an understanding of what it is that's going on. I think I have an understanding of why these things are happening. Maybe I should share this with my wife. Maybe I should find out from her what her opinion of it is, so that it'll make sense.
Mhm.
And then we can kind of like dissect between the two of us and figure out exactly what the root cause of it is.
Mhm.
So, okay, we're in a relationship, a monogamous marriage.
Mhm.
We want to build together. We want to establish this credit
Mhm.
and the house and
Yeah.
the dog and the cat
Right.
and all of this. You know, we wanna have our own little Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And all of that is good. But what we haven't done is talked about the bad
Mhm.
that we consist of, so that we can get an understanding of how we keep getting these results.
Correct. The downfall for both of us for a while was neither of us were really great at listening.
Yeah, I heard you, and I was not listening,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not eager to change either.
Mm-hmm.
Once I kind of saw the same reenactment in action with you,
Mm-hmm.
it was like whatever.
Well, you never did well with authority.
It wasn't. I don't think that it was an authority thing.
Follow me though.
Okay.
You never did well with authority. And it was almost like you were taught to go against the grain. Do you get what I'm saying? Where it was like, well, they can't tell you what to do.
Okay.
They can't tell you, it's this way or it's no way. And so in a lot of ways in our relationship, even once we got to the marriage standpoint, it was kind of like, even though I was your wife, I still couldn't tell you what to do.
Yes. But that wasn't initially what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
When I started feeling as though I couldn't trust you,
mm-hmm.
and I had to question what your motives were,
Mm-hmm.
I said to you, I said, I don't think you understand the magnitude of what it is that you're showing me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you are jeopardizing more than just our marriage
Mm-hmm.
or our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You're jeopardizing our friendship. You're jeopardizing the integrity that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at you differently and I lose respect for you,
Mm-hmm.
once that's gone, once that's lost, that's lost.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do certain things, this, that, or the third.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was that I said, however it was that I said.
Mm-hmm.
I was very
adamant.
I was
You were very adamant in what it
spot
was.
on with what it was. And I'm saying, like, just as long as you don't do this to me right here,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell, like, listen, we can work through the truth. We cannot deal in lies.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot work around lies. We can work through the truth, no matter how ugly, no matter how disappointing, no matter how flustered. Just don't lie to me. And immediately you lied.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck that.
And when he said it, I was like, he lying.
Yeah.
Right.
But it took 4 years.
Y'all pray for me.
4 years for you to recoup from that.
Yeah, a very long time. Oh, absolutely.
To turn around and then end up in, I don't care who you are. I don't care what it is, because if I have to question who you are or what it is that you do
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be bothered with you.
Mm-hmm.
I've had enough of that uncertainty throughout my whole life, wondering who was who, for what reason, for what cause.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm either with you or against you.
And that's a fact.
That's plain and simple. I don't care who you are. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. If I'm with you, I'm with you. If I'm with you, you can have the shirt off my back. I'll figure out how to get another one. But if I'm against you,
you in a world of trouble.
I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And we went through that several times in our relationship. We went through that several times in our relationship because there wasn't the same mutual respect.
Oh yeah, on several different accounts.
And when I said to you, like, listen, no matter what it is, I don't care. Sit me down. Shit, write it down. Send it to me in a long text message. Just tell me what it is so I know what it is that I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't show me that. You couldn't illustrate that to me. Mm-hmm. That's when we had more issues and more rocks than anything at the bottom.
Yeah, and the attempts that I would make were always too late. So even if I would, write you a long text or write you a letter,
like,
or it was totally on deaf ears. So that affected us in so many other ways because I already have this internal issue with not being heard.
But you also have the situation within yourself where you determine the outcome, mm-hmm. where you take the authority that's not rightfully yours, mm-hmm. and you will say, oh, well, I already know how he's going to respond, or I already know how that's going to go. I already know how that conversation is going to.
Let me make sure we're clear. I would say, okay, past tense. That's not something that I do.
No, because I'll take that.
Because I understand the adverse effect. And for a long time I did it. For a long time, I didn't understand the adverse effect because I had never dealt with someone like yourself.
Blunt.
Yeah.
Okay. Straightforward. Brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Because I don't have anything to hide. If I'm ashamed of doing it, I got no business doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Yeah, but there even to that degree, there were a lot of different things that you were not ashamed of doing, but still should not have been doing.
Yes.
You
It,
understand
it
what I'm
that
saying?
that was my lack of maturity.
Correct.
That was me being very immature and
Mm-hmm.
being one-sided, not being able to be accountable for my actions,
Mm-hmm.
justifying them because it was like, oh, but that ain't nothing. Like all I did was I was talking to her.
And that
You got
just,
no business in nobody's inbox.
oh my gosh, and
Talking about this, that, or the
it just
third,
drove
with
me
so on and so forth, etc.
insane.
And even now, sometimes I still end up talking to people, but I'm very, very precise. Shorty, I ain't interested.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it ain't even, I don't want you to feel like this or like that. We out in public, and I will see a lady or a young lady and end up talking to them, and I bring them over to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's no blurred lines. I wear my ring proudly. I'm not one to leave home without it, or you know what I'm saying, get myself involved in too much, because sometimes you can put your own foot in your mouth.
I was gonna say my hair light skin where my ring goes. So even if I don't, even if I don't wear my ring, I'm still showing. Like you see that the little light right there.
Oh
I'm saying
gosh.
you see it. The imprint is there. Like even when I don't have it on, it's
But it's
on.
but it's
And
very different. It's very different. It's very different. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep it as real as I know how.
okay,
There are some cats out here that consider themselves being able to have a trophy when they can screw with someone's wife. There are very few women that will take themselves and get themselves involved with a woman's husband.
my husband says this all the time, but I do not agree.
I'm just telling you like it is. I don't give a damn how handsome I am. It ain't too many women.
No, no, no. We've had this discussion before.
It ain't
No, no,
too
no.
many women.
You're wrong.
It's only a certain kind of woman.
And those are the kind of women that you don't care to deal with.
I don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, that's all
Nothing.
that is. It's nothing much to it, y'all.
Back layers.
We
Beware.
we could go back and forth about this all day, but we're not. We just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about monogamy and how they affect relationships. And if this is your struggle, please know that we understand. No one level set with me and let me know what the testosterone in a man causes them to do when they're in a relationship with just one person. But now that I'm a little bit more equipped, I think I can handle it now a little bit better.
Child, look, we ain't even finna. It's been a wonderful conversation, and and my wife has jokes. That's what she does. She has jokes, but we listen. Don't get yourself in a relationship because you're asking for something that you're not prepared to deal with.
Right.
Don't put yourself in situations where a person has to question your loyalty or your motives when it comes down to how you're involved with them. People's feelings are something that you cannot replace. People's emotional state of mind is something that we all have to be very conscious and uh, of and respect, because that's how people end up on Snapped. I'm gonna keep it all the way G with you. Don't play with these women, and ladies, don't play with these men. If you want a relationship and you are ready to be somebody, and you're ready to settle down, then say that. State your claim from the opening conversation. It's never too soon to tell a person how you want to be treated and what it is that you have as an expectation if they're going to deal with you.
I couldn't agree anymore. I think that that's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And it's going to take some uncomfortable conversations. It may take for you to go into that dark place inside of your mind and your heart to open up and disclose some different things to keep those people that you care for aware and alert of certain things.
And if you need help with doing so, don't be afraid to seek counseling. Don't be afraid to see someone. It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to see a psychiatrist. It's okay if you need someone to help you compartmentalize and throw away the trash.
That's right.
It's totally okay. I am a firm believer and a complete advocate for mental health, and I don't think that we take it serious enough. I don't think that we give ourselves enough vacation time. Maybe you can't afford to get on a plane and go to the other side of the world, but you can catch you a hotel on hotels.com for the cheap, 30, $40, and give yourself a night away. Give yourself a one day where you can give your mind a break and escape from maybe that everyday pressure that could be becoming a little bit too much.
Get yourself a blanket. Find you a nice park. Find you a quiet place where you can go and you can meditate and you can take some time to yourself to just kind of reflect and think about circumstances and the things that are important and vital to your well-being. Your mental health is, if not more important, just as important as your physical health. Please always consider that. Whether you are a single person seeking a partner or you are a married person with a spouse,
Right.
take their mental health serious.
And pay attention to your friends and your relatives and pick up on when they are drowning.
Mm.
They come to you and they express to you these different emotions and feelings that they are going through, and they start saying things that don't seem like them normally. Take that into consideration. And so many times I've seen people say after someone is gone, like, "Oh, I just wish that they had said something to me," or they sent me this text, or they sent me this email, or they wrote me this letter, and I just didn't understand what
What
it
it meant.
meant. People are crying out for help in their own way. Take a minute and really kind of absorb what's going on around you. If people start acting a little erratic, some people just need a hug.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to ask people, how have you been?
Take a minute.
How are you feeling? What's
Yeah.
going on with you?
Hmm.
And check on your loved ones, man. Check on your loved ones. If you truly care for them, check on them. See about them. No doubt.
And it's totally okay. D always has all these crazy ideas, but it's totally okay for you to stand in the mirror and check on yourself.
Mm.
It's totally okay for you to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am not okay. What is bothering me is.
Know thyself.
And it's totally okay if it breaks you down to your knees. Maybe that's where you need to be. Pray. You never know. But take these things seriously. All of these things kind of compound one on the other. And I will continue to say to please, please, please take your mental health serious. If you are in a relationship, take your relationship serious, take yourself serious. If you're looking to be in a relationship, then again, take yourself serious, take this other person serious, and do yourself the favor and heal before you get to that place of being in a relationship with someone else, and then you want to make them responsible for fixing and or healing you.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for your time tonight on this Tuesday night. We will see you again when.
Oh man, you know where we're gonna be at. Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And of course, our YouTube channel.
That's right.
If you haven't already,
Please
make sure
that
you subscribe,
uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh.
and share.
Yes.
We're gonna see you right back here, same place, same time, Tuesday night. We thank you guys for joining us once again.
Thank you.
It's your boy AD.
And your girl D. Gang. Gang. It's been real.
Peace.